Our special guest today is David Citron.
Life coach is someone who is going to help you and support you to move forward in your life in whatever way. And the general three categories that are given are sort of health, wealth, and relationships. But we can add spirituality to that as well. So whatever way, if we can say that you can want to move on in your life, achieve goals, anyone who's feeling a little stagnant in their life, having someone on the outside who can sort of support you, help you move forward a little bit can often be a great thing.
Being a bit cynical, David.
Yeah.
Can't we do this ourselves? Can't we, get advice, suggestions from our loved ones? Can't we do it ourselves?
Yeah, we can do it ourselves, but I think it's always a little more difficult. I think there's a piece of Masechet Brachos where different rabbis are ill, and each rabbi is needing the help of another rabbi to sort of pull him out of his state, whatever that state is, depression or whatever that low place is. So it's always easier to have a helping hand, and sometimes we need to create the environment around us that will give us the helping hand and put that in place. And a life coach is there, or should be there, to give support in doing that.
Just taking the football analogy, like a football coach, go into the changing rooms at half time to motivate the players to perform better in the second half.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we always need someone to sort of spur us on, or something to spur us on. And if you've got that, someone who's sort of looking out for you, can remind you about your strengths. And also, I suppose the best word would be a catalyst. Be a catalyst for your change. If enough years passed, eventually you would change and something would happen, but maybe it can happen just a little bit quicker if there's a catalyst, someone or something to move things forward a little bit.
Can I ask your background? How comes you're a life coach?
Okay, well, I always wanted to help people in some way. I started out in medicine, and then I changed track when I realized that I was into psychological stuff. Other people weren't so into that. I realized I want to be talking to people a little bit more than maybe 12 minutes on the NHS. So I wanted to really help people. And then I got into psychotherapy and got my MA there, and then moved into life coaching, got training in life coaching, and also got into something called NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. It's a whole system which helps people make massive transformation in their life in a very quick way.
Why do you think we're living in times, David, where we need a life coach? Maybe 20, 30 years ago, I hadn't heard of a life coach. Why do you think society needs people like yourself today?
I think that's a really good question. I think we're all looking for growth and support in some way. And I think people nowadays are a little more open to getting a helping hand than perhaps they were 50 years back, 100 years back, maybe pre-Freud even. So along with that, life coaching came as an offshoot of therapy. Therapy was originally very much about looking backwards and seeing, what were the problems and issues that someone had as they were growing up, and then working through those. And then humanistic therapy came, which was a little bit about moving forward. Life coaching is very much about focusing on the future and getting someone to move forward in their life. And as people became more open to getting a helping hand, getting a therapist, talking about who they really are and what they really want to do, and actually aspiring for more. I mean, people nowadays, will change job many, many times in their lifetime. It used to be that people would just have one job and that would be it. So there's a lot more opportunity out there, and people generally are looking for focus. They're looking for motivation and focus and someone or something that's going to help them move forward.
Can I ask you to perhaps give our viewers an example of how you've helped somebody?
Okay, fine. So there is a part of the mind which is an addictive part. The human mind is a very addictive thing. And this part is actually there. It's called the RAS, the Reticular Activating System. It's actually there to move people forward and get obsessed about moving forward. So one of the things that I help people do is train that part to ensure that you're successful in whatever it is that you want to do. And one of the ways of doing that is by instituting various things that are going to educate that part of the mind to move forward.
And I presume there's more than one life coach in London. Why should I choose you?
Okay, well, what I like to do is help people and support people moving forward. That's all I can say. My heart's in it. I'm sure there's lots of life coaches out there with their heart in it. But I have got a history of helping people and helping people make massive change. For instance, I'll give you one client.
What might help as well is that you've got a medical background.
The medical background does help, but also, you know, just to have a history there of helping people, whoever you're looking for, and it doesn't have to be me, make sure that the person has a history of helping people move forward. You asked for an example of someone in the past. I had someone who was depressed for 6 months before we met, and they'd gone to various different coaches, and we worked on moving him out of the depression. He managed to get himself out of it within a couple of weeks, and then he started working on his life skills, and he ended up beating 4,000 people to an interview for a very prestigious job.
I understand also, David, from my researchers, that you've got an event coming up. Transform your life in a day.
Yes.
Is that possible?
It is possible. There's a Jewish idea that you can transform your life in a moment, but we spend a whole day doing it. That's a long time. And if you take every single moment within that event and really put your mind to it, you will be able to transform your life in a day. The concept is to work with this part of the mind and train that part of the mind and institute the habits on a daily basis that we'll take from that day and train that mind to move yourself forward. Train that reticular activating system to get you where you want to be and get you there as fast as possible. So that requires a lot of different things, specifying the exact goals, the type of goals that will motivate you, because I don't believe in motivated people or lazy people. I believe that some people have motivating goals and others don't.
Is there a relationship between life coaching and counselling?
There is. As I mentioned, it sort of had an outgrowth. Counselling and therapy is a blurry line, but coaching has come in the more recent decades as an offshoot.
What's the difference between counselling, therapy, and life coaching?
Fine. So counselling and therapy, in many ways, they are a lot to do with working through things in the past. There are types of therapy that are different. There's existential, humanistic, psychoanalytic. There's a lot of different approaches out there. What I can say is coaching is about moving forward and strategizing for the future.